So we're going to talk about the set list, how we build it, how we go about it. I look at it this way. Set list efficiency technique. I have no idea if that's even a thing, but S-E-T, set list efficiency technique. It really is very important to be able to build a set list and have it flow properly through the night. You've got to have your, I don't want to say arcs, because arcs mean you're going up and then you kind of come down at the end. It's more like, you've got your valleys, your kind of your low spots, if you want to call it that. I always felt you kind of do your first 3-4 songs, you come out hard, you're playing the stuff, and then you got to kind of bring it down, the dynamics. Just like a song, you've got dynamics. You got to bring it down and bring it back up. So you got to kind of just find that spot that you're comfortable with as a band, whether it's several kind of peaks and valleys, or you just kind of start here and you're going to come down and then you kind of finish strong. Keep that in mind. That I think it's really key when building a set list. But here's how I go about doing it. See what your thoughts are. So building a set list for the current band I'm in, or any of the bands I've been in the past, has always been enjoyable. It's fun. It's creative. It's great when you have input from all members of the band, and that's the great thing about a current band, Side Hustle. We're here in New Jersey. All 4 of us have input. We love kind of just throwing the ideas out there. It doesn't all work because sometimes somebody just doesn't want to play something. It's too hard. It just doesn't kind of fit what we're doing. All good. So you've got to have that teamwork, that team mentality to really put something together that's cohesive. So we're a cover band. We do everything from 80s and 90s pop and rock, for the most part, some metal, and some other things thrown in there. So when it comes to our set list, you've got to put several things, several factors have to go in place here. Knowing what your catalog of music is. Again, we're a cover band, so we don't have originals. So it's knowing, okay, when we play somewhere, whether it's a smaller establishment, larger establishment, ideally, who do we think is going to be there? So we have these set lists put together well ahead of time. We don't do it 15 minutes prior. We've got a couple gigs coming up in the next few weeks. We kind of know what it is we're doing as far as set list, because we know the venues. The one we've been there before, we're going to play 3 hours. To me, when putting a set list together, time, when someone says you got 2 hours, you've got 3 hours, like a 6 to 9 window, 6:30 to 9:30, 7, whatever it might be. I think 3 hours, I think 3 sets. Typically in our sets, we have 10 songs per set. Sometimes maybe 11 or 12 depending on things, but more than likely it's going to be 10 songs for the 3 sets, about 45 minutes, 50 minutes per set. Little break in between the first and second set. Third set, typically maybe not as long, because we want it, especially if everyone's into it, people there are enjoying themselves. You don't want to kill the mood, basically. So we will do a 5-minute quick, just kind of stretch the legs, and then we'll get going again and go from there. So, but that's a typical way we would look at it. As far as structuring it and the songs that we use, that was always the hardest part. You're like, okay, what do we start with? What are we going to do? And then I found the easiest way that has seemed to work recently with this band and some past bands. Figure out what you want your last song to be for the night, and then you back out of it that way. And here's what I mean. I know we pretty much know what our final song is going to be this upcoming gig, right? So that'll be song number 10 of the third set, or say 30 out of 30. We'll put that in, we'll write it out, we'll put that in there. And then I tend to like to have 1 or 2, and we were just talking about this in rehearsal last night, 1 or 2 other songs in our back pocket. Not on the set list, but if we play that final song and there's a couple minutes left, or people want us to stay on for a little bit longer, 2 other songs that we can do that kind of keep the momentum going for another, 5 to 8 minutes, whatever it might be. But once I've got that, that last song idea, like last night we started talking about it. Third set, it's got to be, we gotta keep moving, right? So we kind of back in the songs that way. Okay, so we've got 10 songs in the third set. We know what our last one's going to be. What are the songs that keep people moving? Because at that point of the night, the dinner crowd is gone. You've got people kind of coming in, the after dinner crowd, they're at the bar, wherever it might be. They're going to want to kind of hear some more upbeat stuff. So we put that upbeat stuff in that third set for sure. There's nothing slow there. And when I say slow, I don't mean any ballads. I mean, that's kind of how we craft that. So that's how we look at the third set. So keep, everything from the rock, the metal, the pop, whatever it's going to be, we've got it in that set. On the flip side, we're looking at the first set. We go on at 6 o'clock. People are still rolling in. The dinner crowd is still there. You can't be playing full volume. Not that we do, because we're an acoustic-based band. But you've got to keep in mind, people are still eating dinner. They don't want to be annoyed. So you've got to find that balance of, okay, so what do you play in that first set? And we craft it that way. So we kind of go backwards from the third set up. We'll start at the first set, song number 1, and go from there. Start filling in those first 10 songs. I mean, upbeat, but kind of a little bit slower, not as loud. Just to kind of get the night moving, basically. Second set's pretty important as well, because now you're going to take a combination of both of these. You've got stuff from the third set, you've got stuff from the first set, and now that second set is starting to kind of become its own. You're taking a little from column A, a little from column C, and that's what's becoming column B. So it is getting more upbeat, maybe more of the rock stuff. I've always felt that second set, you can kind of put a throwaway song in that first slot right there, because if people are kind of milling around and you want them to kind of get back to where they were, you put something in there that maybe isn't as important as the other songs. You play it good, but it's kind of like, hey, like a bell going off as far as, hey, we're back, that sort of thing. So that's how I would look at it. And you craft that second set from there. Before you know it, you've got 30 songs in. Our catalog is about 45 to 50 songs right now, so no matter what you do, you're starting, and it continues to grow. You're starting to leave out some tunes that you like to play. It's a good place to be, because you've got all these other songs down that sound good too. So it becomes a balancing act. We don't typically do the same set every time we go out. We try to mix it up, some newer stuff. Like again, this gig we're playing, the last gig we had prior was at the same location. We're mixing things up. We're not starting with the same song. We're kind of doing a lot of, shuffling around, of things, so to speak. So that's how we kind of approach building a set list. And the way we kind of keep everything in check is that we now have a Google Drive page. So we kind of have a master set list page, or, sheet. And then we'll put the rehearsal stuff in there. And then we'll put the places we're playing to look at those set lists. So it just kind of keeps us, it's an easy catalog, of looking into to see what we've done and what we haven't done in a while. So that's kind of how I look at that. It's fun, we enjoy it, but that's kind of the basis of how I would go about building a set list. If you haven't done it before, don't overthink it. Kind of think about, what are you doing? Sometimes you're only playing 2 sets and 10 songs, and that makes it almost harder for us, because now it's like, what else are we going to leave out? But I always kind of go backwards, know what you want to end with. And honestly, if there's something you want to start with, the other thing that I've done in the past, sometimes we would start with songs that we were very comfortable playing. It kind of got us into the groove. We played them so well as a unit, you just kind of feel good getting out there with that first song. So you're just kind of starting off with that one. Because it's kind of important to kind of just make sure you're on the same page, you're feeling the groove. So you want to do something, typically we're not going to open with something we've just kind of rehearsed, something brand new. We want to get the flow going, so we'll go something we can go to. It's kind of like our go-to. And just go from there. So, and again, the input is very important. I truly believe, and again, the way I look at this is I've got input. If somebody doesn't want to do something, they don't want to play it, cool, I'm okay with that. I don't really have any issue. Very rarely do I push too hard. And I truly believe the most important part of that is your singer. And it's important that your singer is comfortable playing, singing something. If I suggest something and the singer's like, I don't think I can do it, it's not in my range, whatever it might be, they just don't like the song, I won't push, because that'll come across when we perform. So it's no issue for me for the most part if a singer in any of my bands kind of said, well, I'm not sure I want to do that, because I'm fine with that. But, the singer comes across and says, hey, I kind of like this song, I'll do everything in my power to make sure it sounds good, because, if the singer's into it, if it sounds good, we're all going to sound good. So that's kind of how I look at it. So very, very rarely do I kind of make us think about something that I want to play if we don't do it, because sometimes out of that come 3 other songs you never thought of. So it works out well. We have a good group here. I really enjoy it. Again, Side Hustle, we're here in North Jersey. Link below to all of our stuff. Check it out. But that's how I go about building the set list. Hopefully it helped you out.